If you develop this discipline, it will absolutely cure your habit of moving your arm before your feet. Try it. That's how I corrected my own footwork. Today, we're covering the forehand loop against backspin. Do you frequently hit the net with this shot? Remember, a backspin ball has a downward trajectory. If your racket is behind the ball against light backspin, you can lift it over the net from this backswing position. However, if the backspin is heavy, the same stroke will fail to lift the ball. The reason you hit the net is that the ball drops too quickly, and your upward motion is too slow to create enough friction. So, how do we solve this? I'll explain two methods. The first solution is to get your racket below the ball. As long as you're lower than the ball, you can simply lift it up. Because I'm below the ball, my upward motion naturally generates the necessary lift. Even if you keep your wrist firm and swing upward, you'll still create friction, even without any conscious finger or wrist action. The second method is to use explosive, concentrated power. Your backswing can be more backward than downward. At the moment of contact, use your fingers, forearm, and acceleration to powerfully lift the ball. Personally, I feel both methods work for lifting the ball. Choose the one that suits you. Now for the second key point on why you hit the net. From an amateur's perspective, the natural instinct against heavy spin, fast balls, or opponents' power shots is to lift upward excessively. If you can loop like Haigu is demonstrating now, I'd say your technique is already very solid. However, you make too many errors driving forward because you can't control the end of your stroke. So how do you control that forward power? It's like when someone's topspin goes long, what do you tell them? Exactly, you must close your racket angle. When I power loop, my racket face is almost parallel to the table, but yours is facing the opponent, which is why the ball goes long. You have to close the angle more. Don't be afraid of hitting the net. If you want to unleash your power, you must keep your racket angle closed. Otherwise, you'll hit one ball long, then another, and you'll get confused and not know how to adjust, causing your arm to become tentative. Your follow-through will be cut short. You must close the racket angle. Everyone, remember this key point. Players who hit long often have too open of a racket angle when they apply force. After contact, your racket faces your opponent, while mine faces the table. Crucially, after closing the racket angle at contact, you can't just push. You must brush the ball, and your follow-through should move horizontally, like a plane, transitioning from forward drive to a controlled finish. A lack of spin is also related to not closing your racket angle properly. With such an open racket face, how can you generate friction? An open angle will only result in lifting the ball. Closing your racket is the first key. Look at my racket angle after the shot. Combine this with lowering your center of gravity to generate real power. Second point, your center of gravity must rise and fall. Your body needs to create the arc. Your arm is moving in an arc, so why is your upper body staying upright? If they're not synchronized, your power will be disconnected. When your arm drops for the backswing, your body drops. When your arm rises, your body rises. When you drive forward, your body follows. This is how you achieve synchronized power. A common problem is that your elbow is tucked in. How can you close your racket angle like that? You have to keep your elbow out to create space, which allows your hand to close the racket angle. Your elbow is tucked in, and your center of gravity is too high. You can't even get to a short ball. You must lean forward. This allows you to pounce on short balls and loop them. Otherwise, you can only lift them up, and you'll miss short balls entirely. To create friction, you must brush the upper middle part of the ball. Secondly, your body and arm must follow the same trajectory. Look, down, up, forward, and finish. Your body and arm must be in sync. Your body posture directly affects the direction of your arm's force. Third point, how do you get that feeling of wrapping around the ball? When your elbow tucks in, you're just pushing. Think about hugging. You hug with your arms out. Tucking your elbow in is like pushing someone away. So, to wrap the ball, your elbow must be out, creating space. Why do you hit the net or lift up against heavy spin? Because your motion is a push, whereas mine is a supportive arc. Obviously, keeping the elbow out creates a better trajectory. You're stationary now, but in a match, a pushing motion will get you jammed. You must keep your elbow out for a proper loop. If you use this inward, pushing arc, you're much more likely to hit the net, even if the stroke looks standard. The moment your opponent adds more spin or changes the placement, you'll make an error. Therefore, I must loop with my elbow out. Watch my demonstration. Keep it out. See this position? Keep the elbow out. This has nothing to do with raising your elbow. Lifting it high is a raised elbow. This is keeping it out or extended. If you master this point, your loop's arc will be much fuller. Let me show you from behind. This is with the elbow out. Your current swing arc is inward, which makes it very hard to create friction. Furthermore, with that swing path, your racket angle on the way up will be too open. You're using an inner arc. I'm using an outer arc. So, of course, my ball trajectory will be correct. I'm sure many players have this problem. Do a shadow swing. Your upper arm is tucked inside your body. You need to keep it out. Yes, stop there. Your elbow and upper arm need to be firm at this point, creating a braking force. During a rally, you tend to adjust your arm position based on the ball. Instead, you should use your footwork to adjust your body's position. Your elbow structure should remain stable. Use your feet to get in position. Don't use your elbow to compensate for a short ball or a bad position by pushing at it. That's it. Always keep this structure stable. Good shot. Again, keep it stable. Haigu, you must fix this. Otherwise, in a match, when you're moving or the spin varies, you won't have confidence in any of your shots. You jam inside balls this way and reach for wide balls that way. Don't let this part of your arm waver. Use your body's center of gravity to adjust. If I'm late to an inside ball, I can still loop the ball like this while keeping my arm structure. For a short ball, I can lean in. But don't adjust with your elbow. Otherwise, you'll miss a couple of shots and lose all sense of what a correct stroke feels like. So, we must stabilize the forearm, upper arm, and elbow. Don't let this structure move around. If it does, you'll have no control over where the ball goes. A third reason for hitting the net is stopping your swing too early. I've watched many players, and after the opponent pushes, their loop looks like this. They make contact and the arm just stops. Many players do this without realizing it because they've never seen themselves play. If you record yourself, it will be obvious. A player today told me she had no idea her loop looked like that. Her backswing was too far from her body, and she stopped her motion right at contact. We do the exact opposite. My backswing is close to my body. You can see from the side it's practically touching me. And then my follow-through extends far away from my body. Look how far my follow-through goes, past my eyebrows, and this is for a loop against backspin. The standard forehand drive finishes at the eyebrows. But for a heavy loop, to create a wider angle, my whole body is turned. You must adapt to the ball. My backswing is close to my body, and my follow-through is far. The second half of your swing, the part after you make contact with the ball, is where the magic happens. Remember this crucial rule: relax the backswing, but accelerate through the ball. Don't be timid at contact. The backswing is relaxed, you're actively looking for the ball, and once you find it, let's say I contact it here. Bam! It's like a cannon. The explosion happens at contact. That's the most important part. You must internalize this feeling. The real work begins the moment you touch the ball. All the components, friction, finger power, acceleration, driving forward, using your core, hip rotation, leg drive, all of it must happen at the moment of contact. Contact the ball, and explode. Furthermore, your entire swing cannot be far from your body. You have to choose one phase: backswing close, follow through far. It's a feeling of storing energy and then releasing it. Never start with a wide, open backswing. You will get jammed. For example, on a fast, heavy push, why do you get jammed? Because your arm is already extended on the backswing. By the time it swings to the contact point, the ball is already on top of you. You have no time to execute a proper stroke, you're just pushing it back. If you keep your backswing close to your body, you'll never get jammed, no matter how fast or deep the ball is. You must keep your backswing close to avoid getting jammed. When you're not jammed, you won't hit the net. Most net balls are a result of being jammed. Swing from close to far, not from far to close. And don't stop your motion early, make sure to follow through completely. Another reason you might lack power or hit the net from the forehand side. Is incorrect timing on your backswing. Some players start their backswing before their feet are in position. They swing first, then move their feet. The second type is the opposite. They get their feet in position but don't start the backswing until the ball has almost arrived. This is truly one of the most common and critical reasons for a lack of power in the serve and attack sequence. What you're missing is synchronization with the rhythm of your opponent's push. Let's break down the sequence so you can time it perfectly. First, after you serve, don't wait to see the result. Don't watch if they push or loop. You must recover immediately, not stand and wait for the ball. What's the right tempo? You should have finished your recovery before your opponent has even contacted the ball. Watch again. See? I'm back in ready position before he hits the ball. This is the standard you should aim for. Second, when you recover to the forehand side, don't drop your racket. Keep it above the table, because the return might be a topspin ball. If your racket is down, you'll be too late. So your recovery position must be with the racket up. Your center of gravity should be low and forward, on the balls of your feet, ready to explode in any direction. Now, when you see a backspin return to your forehand, your feet move and your arm drops into the backswing simultaneously. Let's go through it. Step 1, fast recovery. Step 2, racket above the table, body compact. Step 3, identify the location, then move your feet and start your backswing in one motion. Then, if you're early, you can pause for a split second. If you're late, you must accelerate the stroke. This will ensure you synchronize your power. What to avoid: serving, seeing the ball go to your forehand, and moving your arm before your feet. Also avoid getting your feet in position but failing to start your backswing, then making a rushed swing at the last second. If you fix these two issues, your backswing timing will be correct. And you won't have to consciously think about rhythm, you will naturally be on time. Let me demonstrate: serve, quick recovery, backswing, and execute. There are several key points here. First, a fast recovery after the serve is non-negotiable. Don't let your tempo lag. Second, your feet and arm must move together, load together, and fire together. That's how you synchronize your power. After serving, recover quickly. Then, your feet and your swinging arm should land in the lowest backswing position at the same time. As you swing forward, don't forget to use your body. Your body must rotate and drive forward. Look, serve, land in position, and drive with your body. Remember these points. Quick recovery: use your feet to get to the contact point, and as you move, drop your racket for the backspin ball. Then, as your arm swings forward, your body must also drive forward. Don't leave your body behind and swing with only your arm. The error rate will be very high. If your feet are not in position, do not start your backswing. Isn't everyone's arm faster than their feet? If you want to improve your footwork, here is a method: have a partner push balls to all over the table. Practice covering the whole table with your forehand. I know your backhand is good, mine is too. I rarely step around in the backhand corner. But to train footwork, you must force yourself to move. Serve short, have your partner push to all over the table, and if your feet aren't in position, your arm does not move. Keep it in the ready position. Only when my feet have created the space do I initiate the swing. For example, if I misjudge a ball and my feet don't move, my arm stays put. I must train this discipline and be willing to give up the point. If you develop this discipline, it will absolutely cure your habit of moving your arm before your feet. If your feet aren't in position, your arm does nothing. Only after your feet move should your arm begin the backswing to execute the shot. Try this for a few days, and then see if your footwork has improved in a match. You might not get to the perfect spot at first, but at least your feet will start moving. Try it. That's how I corrected my own footwork. You must practice covering the whole table. Just practicing the forehand corner is useless. You'll still be static when the ball goes to the middle and forehand. So practice a full table forehand loop. It doesn't matter if you make the shot. First, build the habit of your feet and hands landing together. Trust me, your feet will soon start to activate. At first you'll be late, but slowly you'll catch up, your timing will improve, and your feet will become faster than your arm. Then, you can treat every shot as if you were in a fixed position.